Hello angels and welcome back. Now this one is for you if you have been trying to manifest your dream life and nothing's showing up. Then listen closely, because I want to run you through the 5 things that I had to let go of in order to actually receive everything that I had been desiring for myself, in order for me to quantum shift into an entirely different reality than the one I was at 2 years ago. And this video is not about me harping on about, okay, just visualize a little more or journal harder. I'm talking about deep subconscious shifts, things that you don't even realize are actually blocking you from receiving your manifestations. The things that if someone just told me this sooner, I would have saved years of wasted energy in wanting and wishing until something changed. And if you do this, if you actually let go of what I'm about to share, the version of you that has everything you goddamn desire will have no other option but to land into your reality. Now, here's the thing that actually annoys me when it comes to manifestation. Everyone talks about all the things you need to add into your life for manifestation to happen. More affirmations, more routines, more vision boards. But if you really learn about manifestation, you realize that it's actually not about adding all these new habits and stacking them on top of each other. But instead, it's about clearing the space for the version of you that already has that. So in this video today, I want to discuss the 5 things that I had to let go of, the 5 less obvious, less cliche things that I had to let go of energetically, emotionally, and mentally in order for me to step into my desired manifested reality. So let's get into it. Okay, starting off with number 1, which is letting go of the old identity. And I know this is the most obvious one, but this really does set the tone for everything else. In order for anything to really change, I had to let go of the old identity that I was clinging so hard to, the labels that I placed on myself, the silent rules that I had limited myself to who I could and who I couldn't become. I had to let go of the mantra of I'm the girl who always struggles, I'm the responsible one, I'm not the type of person who can travel and live a soft life. That identity was me basically placing a glass ceiling above my head and telling myself, okay, this is as much as you're allowed to accomplish in this life. This is as far as you can go. This is your reality. Which is the same as me sitting in my house basically only being able to see the ceiling and claiming this as the highest the universe goes. Now, until I ever take those few extra steps and go outside and notice the sky, I am forever going to limit myself to this ceiling above me being the highest point there is for me. That is essentially my self-imposed limit.
Your personality creates your personal reality. That's it. That is it. And your personality is made up of how you think, how you act, and how you feel. So keep thinking the same way, keep acting the same way, keep feeling the same way. Your personality is the same, and your personal reality will be the same as well. If you wanted to change your personal reality, you would have to change your personality.
If you're still living from the same thoughts, the same habits, the same emotions on repeat, then all you're really doing is creating the same life on repeat. Therefore, rewriting your self-concept, your story, or the self-imposed rules and limitations that you've placed on yourself is you basically giving yourself that permission to take those extra steps, to step outside and notice, hang on a second, there is all this space and this vast blue sky above me. All of a sudden, that tiny little box that I placed myself and limited myself to was just a perspective problem that in fact, if I just took a step outside and changed the narrative for myself, changed the programming that I'm set to, and noticed, hang on a second, there is infinite potentials and possibilities available to me. And one of the ways that I did this, and one of the ways that I would highly recommend that you try, is I actually recorded a cinematic new version of my new self-concept on my voice recording app on my phone. You know, I would speak my future reality, my future self-concept as if it was happening in present tense. And I would infuse it with as much genuine emotion as possible, with as much presence as I could as possible. And I would also do that whilst playing high frequency music in the background. And I listened to it daily, especially in the 2 most receptive times for my subconscious mind, which is first thing when I wake up and the last thing I do before I fall asleep. The 2 moments where your brain is operating in theta and alpha wave states, where the subconscious mind is the most open and impressionable it can be. And in those 2 moments, I will genuinely lie down, close my eyes, and immerse myself into this new reality, into this vision, and let myself conjure up all the feelings of it already being my current morning, my current day ahead, my current reality. But I wouldn't just stop there. I would also play it throughout the day at any given time. Whilst I was walking the dog, whilst I was cooking, whilst I was cleaning, whilst I was running errands, whatever it may be, I would put it on in the background. And even though I wasn't completely focused on the soundtrack, the repetition of it still registered through to my subconscious mind. Because really, the subconscious mind doesn't need focus. It just needs the frequency and the feeling of it. And that is the science behind it. Repetition plus emotion equals neural rewiring. Because the more that I heard the repetition of this, and the more that I felt this new version, this new reality of me, the more my brain was creating these new neural pathways pathways for it to happen, for me to expect that to happen, for me to normalize this outcome, until the identity and the reality that I'd been rehearsing eventually became the one that I was living. Okay, number 2, which is letting go of 3D validation. And now this one is a biggie, because I would constantly search my external world, my external reality, for any signals, any signs of change, because I was doing everything that I was told to do, right? So I'd then look at my external reality and be like, okay, so where is it? And every time that it wasn't there, I was unconsciously then just reinforcing lack back to myself. And this is a big problem, this obsession with needing that 3D validation, the proof, the evidence, the constant feedback from your reality that things are changing, that things are shifting, that things are manifesting for you. And it's so annoying, because all that really does is slow it down for you. Because in quantum physics, reality responds to observation and belief, not observation before belief. I had to really switch it from, okay, what's happening outside of me? What's happening in my external reality to, okay, hang on a second, let me rein this in. What is happening within me? What is happening in my internal world? You know, I'm noticing that my reactions have changed. I've noticed that my actions and my behavior is slightly different. My beliefs have changed. My self-worth has changed and improved. My boundaries have even changed. And it took me a long time to gain trust and to gain confidence in the fact that that's what truly matters. I mean, there is so much research on confirmation bias. We will literally always see what we expect to see. And therefore, if I'm constantly looking and seeking out proof that my manifestation hasn't arrived yet, I am always going to find it. So I really had to shift from constantly relying and checking into my 3D reality. I also have another video on that, so if you want to check it out, I will link it down below. But if this is you, then try this instead. Instead of tracking your manifestation, start tracking your identity shifts. So you can journal at the end of the night, or you can just sit with yourself and have a moment and ask yourself, okay, what did I do today that my future self is going to be proud of? What did I do today that my past self would be so goddamn proud of? Because that's the real genuine progress in your life. Okay, number 3 is letting go of that wanting energy, because this one's a subtle but sneaky little bugger. I'm sure someone's going to resonate with this, but for so long I was manifesting from a place of, I want, and it's still not here yet. I was operating in the energy of almost. That's the best way to put it, I guess. And if I'm being really honest with myself, I thrive in that almost energy, in that waiting energy, because I know it better than any other state, you know, especially above the receiving state anyway. I know the routines, I know the expectations, I know the feeling of hope, and that sneaky little part of you that is still housing that self-doubt that doesn't quite truly believe it'll happen yet. It was a safer space to be in, for me, that wanting energy, than the receiving energy. And all that really tells the universe is, hey, I'm not ready for that yet. I'm not ready to receive that just yet. No, I was only ready to want. I was only ready to half-arse trust in this vision and this potential for myself. Abraham Hicks says it the best. You can't get there from here. Meaning you cannot manifest a new state of abundance, of receiving, if you're currently vibrating at the frequency of absence, of lack. And it really does just come down to the point of you having to be like, okay, I need to stop wishing and wanting and start being and embodying. I couldn't keep operating from the almost waiting energy anymore. I had to ask myself, okay, if I had everything that I ever desired for myself, how would I show up today? How would I show up in the world? What would I believe about myself? How would I move throughout this day? And I had to start living from that place. But I want to be completely real, raw, honest right now. It is awkward as shit to start with. It's uncomfortable. It's annoying. You're doing the most. You're showing up every day, pushing yourself to be here now, to act from a place of your higher self, of the embodied version of you that you want to desire and become for yourself. And yet, it's not like you receive instant manifestation or instant change. Your reality doesn't just overnight shift into another parallel universe for you, where everything is amazing and worked out already. So yes, there is that annoying phase in the beginning when you kind of have to push through. But here's the thing. The more you repeat it, the more you show up as it, the more that you embody this state, this version of you, the more it becomes your new normal. And reality might take a minute to catch up, but trust me, it always goddamn does. The universe has no other choice but to match you on that. Here's the thing, there is a reason that manifestation TikTok exploded. It had a 400% search increase because people are finally understanding this principle. Now, even if they're calling it lucky girl syndrome or whatever the new trending title of it is nowadays, all they're doing is tapping into the present moment manifestation of just being her now. That's all it is. Just be her now. Yes, it's awkward to begin with, but just begin, just try, just embody at the best state you can. The almost energy gets you nowhere besides being stuck in the waiting room of your dream life. Okay, number 4 is letting go of the how. And I genuinely think that this was the block that kept me in fear the longest, because I so wanted a new reality, but I was obsessed with calculating all the possible ways that I could get there. I had to calculate all the hows before I could settle into trusting this vision could happen for me. I need to know every step, every variable, every possibility. And to be completely honest, in all transparency, I am a complete control freak. I need to know every move before I can even move forward. But chances are your dream life, your desired reality is not coming from a place of everything that you already know of. It's coming from possibilities, from people, from timelines that your current self couldn't even imagine for your future self. Okay, let me just tell you this. At the worst point of my life, where I had lost everything, I had nothing, a few thousand in savings, but no home, 3 suitcases full of clothes and shoes, and large boxes of self-help books, essentially. I had just been dumped, I had no job, and I certainly had no clear plan at all. In fact, I was so deep in it, I couldn't even figure out what problem to tackle first. And I thought, this is so overwhelming, and I just need a minute to pause. I just need a minute to live. I just need a minute to come back to me. And listen, my life looks so irresponsible right now as it is, so why not spend a little bit more time being even a little bit more irresponsible and following this random ping of intuition that I got, or this random idea of just booking a trip to Bali, just a 3-week holiday by myself. You know, if I had to figure out my life, let me do it from a beach in Bali. And that one little reckless choice I made that day would go on to change the entire trajectory of my life in so many more ways than I could even have imagined for myself in that state. Because 2 years later, I didn't leave. I still live here, and I'm madly in love with my boyfriend in the healthiest, safest, happiest relationship I've ever been in. I am pregnant with my first child, which is crazy. And I live in a home that I could only have imagined for myself in that state 2 years ago. I could never have planned this. The only way this all unfolded is from me just choosing, okay, let me just figure it out as I go along. Let me just follow my intuition. Let me just make a random reckless choice and see how it goes. Because if I'm being honest, if I tried to control all this, do I think it would have played out so well? Probably not. And now I'm glad that the things that did not work out for me, even though they were once the things that I was praying so hard to work out for me, that they didn't happen, because my new life is so much cooler than what I could have even imagined for myself. Uncertainty tolerance shows that people who can sit and not know what's about to happen will actually achieve better outcomes than the people who overplan them. So if you also see yourself in this block and that resonates with you, then repeat this mantra to yourself as often as regular as you can. There are miracles on my timeline that I cannot see yet. Surrender the how and let the universe do what the universe does best, which is surprise us. Because the stories that you don't expect to happen tend to be the stories that you love to share the most. Okay, my last one on this list, number 5, which is letting go of the comfort of suffering and the addiction to potential, because these two are often very much linked. We have all been there before at some point in our lives where we have held on to something way longer than we should have, whether it's relationships, whether it's ideas, whether it's visions, whether it's jobs, whether it's environments. We're not holding on to them because we truly believe that they are perfect for us, they are right for us, but rather from a place of we know what they can become. We see the potential in them. We know what they could be. We know how much we've invested into them. But alignment is never about forcing anything. It's about choosing what is aligned and feeling for you, not what might be one day, what could be, what should be. And underneath all of that was something even more deeper, which is the comfort of suffering. Now, it may have taken me a little while to realize it, but I had an addiction to suffering. I had an addiction to always having a problem to solve. Because for me, I would always feel more myself in struggle and suffer than I would in peace. In fact, my nervous system had been wired for survival for so long that calm and peaceful actually just felt boring as hell for me. And if I'm being honest, a little bit unsafe. Like I'm always waiting for the other shoe to drop at some point. And it may have taken me a while to have this awareness, but I had to get honest with myself and ask myself, okay, well, who am I without a problem to solve? Who am I without suffering? Who am I when things are genuinely good? And I can almost guarantee you this, but your dream life demands peace. And you have to train yourself to feel safe in that. And yes, that sounds beyond ridiculous, but every single person I have ever met in this life has at least once uttered the words to me, I do not feel good enough. I am not good enough about something or other. And all that's really saying is, I do not feel safe to have this. And when it came to this block, my favorite and go-to practice will always be EFT for this. Because for me in EFT, being able to address how I'm feeling in that moment, to be able to self-soothe in that moment, and then go on to be able to release that from my system and replace it with an alternative belief or an alternative suggestion. That was the powerful subconscious reprogramming switch that changed my life. Yes, it may have happened over time and not instantly, but it's one practice that I swear to God changed my entire life. And I truly believe that everyone is more aware now that manifestation is not just this mental aspect to learn, develop, and get good at, that it's actually physiological. And yes, I may say all this right now, but I truly, genuinely understand how hard it is to let go. It's hard to release the old identities. It's hard to surrender the house when everything feels so goddamn uncertain and reality is weighing so heavily on you. And please don't get caught up in this overnight success thing that you need to release this all in one night. But you can pick one thing today. One thought, one story, one fear. And you can start working on that. You can start releasing that. And you can start shifting that. And as a result of doing that one thing, you are going to watch as your life now opens up this whole new level of new quantum potentials and possibilities from you just by making that one shift. Because I promise you, you don't want to be that person who is constantly waiting on life to happen for them. Because one day you're gonna get to a certain point and look back and realize that life was always just waiting on you. Now, if you genuinely like this kind of content, if you're interested in all things personal development, manifestation, quantum shifting, and just as a whole, expanding who you are as a person, then please subscribe. Please like, please comment, and let's become friends. I promise you it'll be a really fun ride. And as always, I will see you soon.